Hi everybody. I'm Genevieve. I'm the Community Outreach Director here at Garden City Harvest. Well, we're not at Garden City Harvest right now, we're at my house. And I'm gonna do a little live video on some veggie exit strategies. What are exit strategies? They are things to when you get to the end of your CSA week, you know, if your pickup is the next day, and you have to use those last veggies, especially those leafy greens. So what do you do? And some CSA masters have been helping me come up with a few things, and one of them is blanching and then freezing. And blanching is just dunking the veggies in the water, usually for 2 to 5 minutes, sometimes less, sometimes a little more. And I'll post a little link after this on a nice little guide on which veggies take how long. But that's what we're going to be learning about. So blanching, and then and that preserves the freshness. It preserves this. It maybe even makes a little sweeter the flavor. And then we freeze it, and then we have it in the middle of cold winter when you are staring out the window at a blanket of ice and snow, and you're longing for that taste of summer again. I know right now people are a little tired of greens, a little tired of some of that stuff, and believe me, in the middle of winter you will want these leafy greens. So I'm in my kitchen right now, and I've got some water boiling behind me. I'm a little behind schedule because I actually fell asleep with my daughter when I was putting her to bed, but she's upstairs asleep now and I'm awake, and I've done a little prep work. I will also mention we're next week is the 9th week, which means we are halfway through the season, which sometimes means people get a little bit tired of the CSA, day-to-day grind. So, let's pep it up a little bit. Let's think about the winter when we don't have any of these green leafy greens, and get started. So, blanching. Let's see. So you're in my kitchen. I'll give you a little, here's the water. I've gotten some new tools for my Facebook Live stuff, so you might be able to hear me a little better. I have this microphone and a little stand because Haida has gone back to school and I don't have anyone to help me film anymore, so it's just me. But anyway, there's some water boiling on the stove, and then we've got some nice, let's see, it's telling me to rotate my phone, but some nice kale ready, just washed. Some of it's stemmed, some of it's not. Aaron says hi. Hi, Aaron. So first we're gonna take this chard and this is not chard. This is kale. Break it apart a little bit, and we're gonna get it right. And we're just gonna put it right in this pot. Let's see if I can tip this down a little bit for you guys. So we're breaking it apart and dropping it right in. Breaking it apart, dropping it in. You can break it apart even smaller than this. I have a bunch, and just throwing it in. And some people use a knife and just shred this stuff up too. I'm going to use this for soup, so I don't want it too small. That's my favorite thing to do in the winter. When you get some of this stuff going in the freezer, you can like spinach or something like that. You can stick it in a side dish with some garlic and olive oil and salt and pepper. Delicious. You can add it to quiches. You can add it to your breakfast eggs. And the nice part about this is because we're sticking it in this nice boiling, and turn it up a little, get it back to a boil. In this nice boiling pot, it's ready to go. It's halfway there. It's halfway cooked. So when you actually do want to use it in the middle of winter, it's really quick. So that's a bonus. So we're gonna let that cook for 3 minutes. Set the timer. Put the lid back on. Get it warmed up again. We've got some nice stems for the compost. So I will mention a few things. Bring you back up a little bit again. Nice shot of my hand. Uh-oh. Sorry about that. I just found this at Shakespeare and Company. It's called Dishing Up the Dirt. It's by someone who actually runs a farm, and also makes up her own recipes, and she's written a beautiful cookbook. I mean, like, we're in summer right now. It's divided up by season, so it's made for you guys. It is made for the CSA member, and it has just absolutely gorgeous photos, but it also just has vegetable-based recipes. I mean, look at those chicks, so cute. And you know, uses a lot of fresh local ingredients. I was looking at this recipe. You could get one of those Le Petit crusts. It's called pizza because it's the sauce is made out of beets. So goat cheese walnuts. I mean, might want to check it out. This might be the thing that'll get you through the mid-season doldrums. I know it's going to be for me. So there it is. I will also mention when you do this, you want to have all your stuff just set up before you really get going, because it happens so fast, especially if you're doing something like spinach, which I'm doing kale, so it takes a little bit longer, but spinach, you're in that boiling water for like 30 seconds. So you really want to, I'm just going to give it another stir. It's back up to boiling. It's definitely smelling like it's cooking. We only have a minute left. So I'm going to turn it down a little bit. But you want to be able to really move this along. I'll also mention that we have over here a little ice bath. And I'll bring you back over here and switch the camera around. Woo! Woo! So you really want to have ice in your ice bath. It has to be cold water. It can't be lukewarm. It can't just be cold water out of your faucet. It has to be ice cold, because you want your food to really stop cooking when you take it out of the ice bath. So that said, I also have over here my my plastic bags that I'm going to use to freeze this stuff. Greens cook down to almost nothing, and so there's probably not going to be a ton that I'm making tonight. Maybe it'll be enough for a soup. Oh, it's ready. So, you know, this is very effective for using up your vegetables, because, you know, your greens go from huge amount, like what this was, like maybe 4 or 5 cups, to probably 1 cup. So I'm going to disappear for a second. I'm going to run over here and drain these veggies in the sink. Probably hear them dumping over here. Put this back. I have a nice towel set out here so I can put my nice, woo, don't worry, I'm okay. Nice drained veggies right on the towel, and I have a whole stack of towels here because you really don't want these veggies to be wet when they go in the bag, because that means they'll get freezer burn. So make sure that you dry out your veggies. Another thing that I forgot to mention, I put some salt in the hot water, because that actually helps the nutrients stay in those greens. So if you want the nutrients, especially the minerals, to stay in your veggies while they're cooking in that boiling water, put a little salt in there. It's kind of an amazing thing. And I love to use the Redmond sea salt because it's actually from the United States, not like the Himalayas or something. And it has a great mineral content in it itself. So I am really, did it again. I'm really pushing down on this. You can see the wetness on the towel, really getting that moisture out, so we don't have any threat of, don't look at my messy kitchen. So we don't have any threat of freezer burn. And then you have a few options after you do this. I want to make sure that I freeze this in a way that I'll use it, right? So that probably means you need to think about the amount, and you need to think how you prepared it. So I have pretty large chunks, you know, that's a bigger chunk. I like this size in soup. You can use this for kale chips, although I wouldn't use frozen for kale chips, but I'm using this for soup. So I've broken it up pretty chunkily, and I want to use a lot of it in soup, so I'm probably going to divide this in 2 bags, so that I'll have about 2 cups each when I put it in the soup. If you wanted to do smaller amounts, like say you were going to do breakfast, you could maybe, a lot of people will just make a little ball that's about a cup, and they'll freeze it like that. I like to take a Sharpie and write on my bag exactly what's in it, and I usually use smaller bags because I don't use a ton. So I'll write kale and then the date 8/2/18, and then I'll write 2 cups. There we go. Blammo. And then I don't actually measure. I just put about 2 handfuls in there. There it is, 2 handfuls. And in an ideal world, I would let this cool off before I put it in plastic. But for your sake, I'm gonna put it in. I'm gonna put it in now, and then I just stick it in the freezer. A few other tips when you're sticking things in the freezer. If it's something that can really get flattened, like some kind, like if you're crushing tomatoes, for example, or if you're doing some kind of sauce, I will lay the bags flat in the freezer and really get them nice and flat, and then they'll freeze hard, and then you can pull them back up and put them like a library books in your freezer. And if you can get them thick enough, you can even sort of flatten them on the side and actually write like there's a spine on the side of that book. Let's see, I'm just looking at my list to see if there's anything else, but that's the main thing. So quick and easy. I did this in, I think it's been less than 10 minutes, but and I have my frozen kale for the bleak winter to make me feel alive again in the middle of the white winter. I loved having you guys in my house. Maybe we should do this again. And maybe I don't know if this is a better time, but you guys can let me know in comments or messages if this works better for you. It seemed like we had a few more people on at one point or another. I need to turn the stove off. Oh my gosh, you guys, I skipped the ice bath. Oh man. Well, luckily I still have some kale left. So I stuck it in the ice bath. Here, you can take a peek. There it is in the ice bath. So I'm breaking all the rules here, but you want to really you actually want to let it sit in the ice bath for 3 minutes. You let it sit in the ice bath for as long as you let it cook on the stove to really bring that cooking down and let it cool off completely. And that would solve the whole problem of putting this in hot. So there you go. I'm gonna put it in. My kale might be a little overcooked, but I'm putting it in soup, so it's fine. Let's see. You heard about the book. You can also put, as far as storage containers, I'll just add You don't have to use plastic. You can totally use some of these. Let me grab one. These, if I had more room in my freezer, I probably would use these. They have little plastic tops that you can. I've got them at Costco, I think. Those are great. They freeze really well. I've frozen them in a pinch when I had something that was, I knew I wasn't going to eat and I was going away for the weekend, so I just stuck it right in the freezer before I left. They didn't crack at all. Mason jars, if they say on the side that they can freeze, you can use those. They're great. Just put the top on and stick it in the freezer. I have had them occasionally crack, but I think it's because I use the ones that aren't freezer approved, or I overfilled it. There is a line on the mason jars. And yeah, I think that's the main stuff I wanted to convey. You guys, if you have questions, feel free to ask them in the comments anytime, and I will get back to you as soon as I can. I'll also mention that it's Farm Party coming up in another 2 weeks from today. I don't know if you can see my shirt. I'm wearing my Farm Party shirt from a few years ago. I hope you guys can come. It's on the 16th of August. It's a Thursday night, totally family friendly. And for CSA members, bonus, if you want to come by the office and pick up your tickets, there's like a $2 per ticket fee online. But since you guys are such good friends of our farms, we'd love to have you come by and buy your tickets there. So you can cut out that fee if you'd like. With all of that said, and with my greatest thanks for watching, I will see you guys next Thursday. And I think we're going to do some pickling in another 2 weeks. So see you guys later. Bye.